Here's Paul Metsa.
And I wish I could see stars over the prairie, stars over the prairie tonight.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I've got this is Paul Metsa, your host on Stars Over the Prairie with my wingman, Chris Al. We have a really fun show tonight. It's a truncated show because those UMD football Bulldogs will be... The broadcast starts at about 11:30 here on the Big K. But in the meantime, we have got a great live guest. Mr. Chris Mulkey will be with us at about 10:30 this morning. Chris is an actor and a musician. He has performed in over 100 film and television shows, including Captain Phillips. He played the murderous Hank Jennings in the original television show Twin Peaks. He has also been on Beretta. Any Day Now, he played Annie Potts' husband for 4 years. Better Call Saul, and a buddy just texted me and said he just saw Chris in a Mazda commercial last night. Chris is an old buddy, and if you, Mulkey, Chris, Chris, if you Googled him and saw a picture, you know you've seen him when you've been cruising through the late-night television.
Yeah, you might not recognize him by his music, but for sure, all the shows he's been on.
Yeah, but he's been a musician his whole life. He and I were actually playing tonight to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Flamers Bar in my hometown of Virginia, Minnesota. Starts at 7 o'clock. Chris is going to be playing. I'll be there with my running buddy, Sonny Earl. We just played down at Minnesota State University in Mankato. We had a great gig on Thursday. Really enjoying this weather. You know, Stars Over the Prairie. People go, what do you do on Stars Over the Prairie? Well, we interview stars. People that might be Sunday stars, people that used to be stars, people that don't want to be stars, people that just like to go outside barefoot, drinking a cold PBR and looking at the stars. But today on Stars Over the Prairie with Mr. Chris Mulkey, we have a real big star. Chris, how was your week this week? You a busy guy.
Yeah, it was a busy week this week. I had a lot going on.
You wear many hats. Did you do any gigs? Did you play at all?
I didn't play at all. Because of an injury, I haven't been able to get out and play as much as I want to. But I did talk to Explore Minnesota, and one of the places that I told them was haunted just made the top 5 most haunted in Minnesota.
Chris is a ghost hunter and ghost buster. Can you share what place that was?
Yeah, it's Greenwood Cemetery right off of Rice Lake Road in Duluth.
Wow.
Yeah, it's. I've been going there for years, and I've got all kinds of evidence. And they called me up and they said, "Give us your top 5 list for Minnesota." And I said, "Well, obviously, no Pemming. We got a lot of stuff at that building, but you can't really go there anymore. It's falling apart." Mm-hmm. And I said Greenwood would be next. We got all kinds of stuff at Greenwood.
What? So, what sort of spirits do you run into up there at Greenwood?
For me, I mostly run into an older lady and what I call is a doubting Thomas. He's a guy that when I get there, he's like, He just follows me around and just does that all the time. He's not really impressed with me being there. But I have gotten, there's a priest that's buried up there, and I have gotten some words from him. And some other spirits that are up there. And so I gave them all the websites they could go to check out all the stuff, all the evidence that I've collected, and wouldn't you know it, they wound up getting that particular location on the top 5. So now it's part of the top 5, which I'm just overjoyed about. But that also means that people are going to be visiting it. So if you want to go visit it, please do. But just treat it with respect. That
sounds very cool. I think we might have Mr. Mulkey at the door.
Okay.
If you want to go let him in, I will. If you are born today, you've got a great year ahead of you. You are a Libra, of course. But look forward, if your birthday was today, September 28th, whatever year it was, look forward to a year of sparkling society, conversation, and maybe a new partner or two. You have a mind of your own and can securely listen to a wide spectrum of opinions on all sorts of subjects. In November, you might decide on a profitable financial move that's been faded for some time now. A big change at home in January could change the game for you and make daily life better, although friends might disagree at first. A big trip in June could change your life, and August is full of fun, and friends. Have a fantastic year. And basically, for all you Libras out there, today's planetary energies are stimulating your ambition. Libra, issues connected with your professional life may be very much on your mind.
I wish I was born today.
Well, if you were, you could plot out ways to further your career. No, we wouldn't. We don't want you to go anywhere. We need you here on Stars Over the Prairie. But perhaps you seek a promotion in your current business. Don't ask me for a raise,
right,
Chris. But
no, you made that clear on day one.
But the big boys' offices are down the hall.
Right.
Go hit Rasmussen up. He's an easy touch. He's the guy, Mike Rasmussen, got me into this gig. So thank you, Mike. Hey, you could be thinking about looking for another job entirely. Once again, Chris, don't even think about it. But this is the ideal time to put specific plans into place for the future. So, Libra, there you go. Famous birthdays today. How they keep track of this stuff, I will never know. But Confucius, the Chinese philosopher, was born in 551 before Christ. He lived to be 70 years old. Of course, spent all of his life in China. Ed Sullivan, from, of course, The Ed Sullivan Show, was born in New York City in 1901. Lived to be 73 years old, passed away in New York City. He was first a newspaper columnist and then started a show on CBS called Talk of the Town, which morphed into The Ed Sullivan Show. I remember watching as a kid. You're a little younger than I, Chris Allen. Do you remember any Ed Sullivan shows?
There wasn't a lot of music shows on our TV, so even if it was around during the time I was, it wasn't on TV.
Well, of course, we all remember it changed thousands, tens of thousands of people's lives when the Beatles came on. But it was a really interesting show because you would have opera singers, jazz performers, ventriloquists, which you could do. Ventriloquists never worked. It did work on the radio. They did have a few, but of course, a lot more fun when you saw it on television. But that Ed Sullivan, happy birthday. You provided a lot of great entertainment for American audience. Of course, all those things are on YouTube. I just want to mention, because fellow Finlander Heikki Savolainen, he was born in 1907, and he was a Finnish pommel-horse gymnast.
Really?
Have you ever pommel-horsed?
I have.
Really?
When I was a kid, my sister wanted to be a gymnast, and my dad said if one does it, the other one does it. So I had to be a gymnast. And a lot of the men's things, one of them is the pommel horse.
Wow. Well, he was an Olympic medalist from 1928 through 52 every year. Took home the gold in 1948. And he also spent his later life as a doctor. Peter Finch, the great actor, was born in London, England in 1916. Of course, most known for his role as the newscaster in the movie Network. Mm-hmm. My favorite female blues singer next to Bessie Smith of all time, Coco Taylor, Queen of the Blues, actually born as Cora Walton in 1928 in Millington, Tennessee. I had the pleasure of seeing Coco several times over the years. She was just a powerhouse. Her version of Wang Dang Doodle by Willie Dixon is to die for. But she used to play quite a bit in Minneapolis at the Caboose Bar.
Okay.
And we used to actually drive down from the Iron Range just to see shows at the Caboose before I moved down there. John Sayles, the great American screenwriter and director, Brother from Another Planet, 8 Men Out, and Mate One, among others, born in 1950 in Schenectady. I can't even pronounce
Schenectady.
it, much less spell it. New York in 1950. Janine Garofalo, First came to fame on Saturday Night Live, comedian and actress, born in 1964. So she's turning 60 years old today.
Wow.
Born in Newton, New Jersey. And then for your youngins out there, Hilary Duff, actress and pop singer, was born in 1987 in Houston, Texas. So how cool is that? We got a lot of cool birthdays out there.
Yeah, we do.
Well, we've got the great actor. He is spending some time in the lobby, but we had a wonderful woman who I had on my Minneapolis radio show several times. She is an F. Scott Fitzgerald scholar. Her name is Professor Anne Margaret Daniel. She was at the St. Paul Library to give a talk on F. Scott Fitzgerald. She's also a Bob Dylan scholar. She's on the board of directors for the Bob Dylan Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And she took her first trip to Duluth this week. She spent a couple of nights. I was able to take her out to Blackwood's restaurant for a wonderful walleye dinner. She fell in love with their walleye, and then it just so happened legendary folk singer Tom Paxton was playing in town, who you heard a little bit of last week on Stars Over the Prairie. He was in town with the Don Juans at the West Theater on Wednesday night. It was just a really great and phenomenal show.
Hello, this is Chris Allen.
All right, it looks like we're getting Professor Anne Margaret Daniel on the phone. I believe she's at a coffee shop somewhere out in New York. Are we connected to Professor Daniel?
We are connected.
All right, Anne, how are you?
I am just fine this morning, Paul. How are you? I'm speaking to you from sunny downtown Minneapolis.
Really? You haven't gotten out of town yet?
You know, Minnesota's a very hard state to leave.
Boy, you sure had...
I'm loving it here. And yesterday it was 82 degrees. I'm glorious.
Did you get
I went swimming in Lake Superior again, and then I drove on down to Minneapolis.
Now, where are you having breakfast today?
I am at a marvelous establishment on Lake Street called the High-Low Diner.
Oh, yeah, the High-Low right by Minnehaha Lake. I've been there a lot over the years.
I am here with my dear, dear friend, Dean Carlson, who lives and works in St. Paul. He's a local with family roots in Duluth, and he is the biggest connoisseur of Minnesota music that I can think of, apart from yours truly.
Well, before we need to talk to Dean for a little bit, but Anne, tell the people out there, it was your first time in the Zenith City by the Unsalted Sea. What will you be able to tell your friends back there in Woodstock, New York, about what you loved about Duluth, Minnesota?
Well, I love the location of Duluth first. When I came around that curve of the road where you see Duluth for the first time down to the right, and I just gasped because there was the sea stretched out, big as an ocean, really, and massive tankers coming and going. I admit the first thing that sprang into my mind was the voice of the immortal Gord and the first lines of the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, even though Superior was calm as glass and baby blue and beautiful. You can't help but hear Gordon Lightfoot the first time you look at it, or at least I couldn't.
Oh, yeah.
And then I drove straight on into town. I was staying I guess up in the heights, in the bluffs above town.
Sure.
Right around the corner from Bob Dylan's childhood birthplace, and just up the street from what used to be St. Mary's Hospital, in which he was born. They're in the midst of tearing that down now, so there was a great deal of brick rubble and such at the corner. I guess they're renovating the hospital. But I took a walk around the neighborhood in just brilliant sunshine, met several friendly neighborhood dogs, looked at all the flowers in bloom, and was just blown away by the beauty of it, and also the peace and quiet. Really lovely city.
And you know, one of my favorite Bob Dylan song, of course, is "It's All Over Now, Baby Blue," with the great line, "Take what you have gathered from coincidence." And you bumped into a little doggy that was named Harrison, which was the name of your father, and it was would have been your father's birthday that day. How old would your dad have been?
My father would have been 102, and this lovely little dog, I didn't just bump into the dog. The dog actually lives in Bob Dylan's old birthplace.
Really?
So, it was quite a marvelous meeting, and I was really thrilled by that. Out of the many fine dogs I met in Duluth, the pack being led, of course, by your very own Blue.
Thank you very much.
I was really charmed by this little chap, and it put me in such a bright mood for the day. And then, thanks to you, I went and had some fantastic walleye. I had never had walleye before.
Wow, Blackwood's Restaurant, man.
I am completely converted.
and you're just going to, fish, of course, it makes you smarter and better looking, and you're going to live longer now. Not that you have to be any better looking, because you were kind of a hot mama. But you're married.
You are the kindest friend.
So, Ann,
thank you very much for the compliment.
Boy, we had, our timing was perfect. We had that nice booth with a view of the lake at Blackwood's Restaurant. And then you came over because I wanted you to meet Blue. And you are a big dog rescue lady. How many dogs do you have at the Daniel compound?
We have 4 dogs of our own, and we currently have 2 foster dogs. So we've got a nice, solid pack of 6 in the house.
Well, and I know because I follow you on X, the website formerly known as Twitter, and I knew you would love Blue, and he's still talking about you.
Well, tell him I will definitely come back to see him soon. And I would like to thank you, Paul, for the courtesy of taking me over to West Theater that night to hear Mr. Tom Paxton and friends.
What an incredible show.
Tom Paxton was in Duluth the same night that I was.
Yeah, he, the last thing on my mind, and just a seminal figure in the Greenwich Village folk history that kicked off the folk scare of the 1960s. According to Dave Van Ronk, Tom was one of the first folk musicians that really was known for writing his own songs. And as I had taped an interview with him that we played last week on Stars Over the Prairie, he was one of the first guys to see the written text of Hard Rain's Gonna Fall, suggested to a young Bob Dylan that he should put a melody to it. The next night, he heard Bob perform that at the Gaslight Cafe on McDougal. That's history. Wow. And you know how much you and I love that stuff.
Love it so much. And I will tell you, the last time I heard Tom Paxton play, before I heard him in Duluth the other night, I heard him at the Bitter End in the Village in New York at a book launch. Terry Thal, who was Dave Van Ronk's wife,
yes,
and a big fixture of the Village folk scene. She was actually Van Ronk's manager, and she was Bob Dylan's first manager. Terry had a book launch at the Bitter End, and her musical accompanists were Tom Paxton, Happy Traum, and David Amram.
Wow.
So it's good to have good friends, and God rest Happy, who was just a gem of a gentleman,
and of course,
and a really, really wonderful man. Woodstock is still reeling from his loss. He was a local in Woodstock for 42 years, raised his family there, and everyone just loved him so much.
And he was in very good shape right until the end.
Yeah.
Of course, and then performed with his brother Artie, who passed away so many years ago.
Right.
They used to run a thing called homespun tapes, and they did the great guitarist, Canadian guitarist Amos Garrett, who played one of the greatest recorded guitar solos of all time on Maria Muldaur's Midnight at the Oasis. I still have that 6-pack of cassettes trying to steal Amos Garrett's licks. I've been trying to steal them for 40 years and still working on it. Hey, why don't Chris Allen go get Mr. Mulkey in the studio, and then I will finish talking to my friend Ann Margaret Daniel. Now, Ann, tell the people out there on the broadcast from the Big K in the heart of downtown Duluth, a stone's throw away from Bob Dylan's Way. Tell people what your day job is out there in New York City.
My day job, I'm an English professor at the New School University, And I teach a course in, this semester I'm teaching a course called Lyric Literature, Rock of Ages. And it's basically a close history of rock and roll during the 60s and 70s.
Cool.
But, we started with ballads and sea shanties, and we went up through Stephen C. Foster and Civil War songs. So it's become kind of a history of popular music.
Cool. Now, you've also spent quite a bit of time down in Tulsa, the Bob Dylan Center, and you had a chance to get your hands on the spiral notebook that Bob Dylan used while he was writing the record that turned out to be Blood on the Tracks. What was that like?
I did. Well, there are actually 3 notebooks that he used to draft Blood on the Tracks, and my favorite one is a little blue-backed one. I think of it in my head as Baby Blue. And it's, the very first sketches of a song called Snowbound that turns into Simple Twist of Fate.
Wow.
The first sketch of a song called Carnation Blues, and then he calls it Dusty Blues, and it becomes Tangled Up in Blue. So it was really a kick to read those and be able to write about them. I couldn't quote everything that I wanted to, but I quoted a lot of it.
Now, didn't some of your notes have ended up on was it a Dylan release, or what did some of your notes? I mean, you've written prestigiously. You've been in Rolling Stone, the New York Times, and other things. But what specific Dylan stuff have you contributed to that's now part
Honestly,
of the historic
record? I can't even think. There's so much of it, but
wow.
I am extremely proud of the fact that the top hit and the very last posting on Dylan's own website, under the news and hype section, is my review of the opening VIP weekend at the Dylan Center.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to, I was going to turn the talk over to my friend Dean Carlson for a moment and let him talk to you a little bit about the music scene here in Minneapolis and the Breeders' Show he went to last week.
I would love to hear that. You enjoy Minneapolis. If you get a chance.
Here comes Dean.
Oh, right. Thanks, Professor Ann Margaret Daniel. Dean Carlson,
hey,
how
Paul.
are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm surprised you and I haven't bumped into each other over the years.
Well, I've definitely seen. I've been a face in the crowd.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Now, what is your what? Tell us about the Breeders' Show you just saw.
Yeah. So they were at the Uptown Theater on what was it? Last week. Yeah, and so it was great. They were having, Kelly and Kim can be anchors at times, and maybe not, all kind of into performing, but they were having a blast.
Cool.
Yeah, they were just having so much fun, and the crowd is having so much fun. I have a few photos, and Kim is just like beaming. It's just like this huge smile on her face. So it was good. They played both. They played Pod and Last Splash in their entireties. So that was cool. And then they came back and did a Pixies cover to kind of wrap it all up. So
sure. Now, how was that new Uptown Theater? I used to go back when it was a movie theater. That's where I saw Spinal Tap for the first time in about 1984, and I'm looking forward to Spinal Tap too, by the way. But it was such a comfortable place to see a movie. How is it as a concert venue?
They've done a really good job. I've been there where they can set up chairs, just folding chairs, or just have it, open on the floor. But that balcony is still a balcony. They blew out the sides a bit, so there's the bar area is to the side, so it doesn't kind of interfere with the floor is lower. So it's a nice layout. So all the bathrooms are in the basement, so you can kind of move around in different places to watch and so on. So I think they've done a good job.
So what part of town do you live in?
So I live in St. Paul. I live right in downtown St. Paul near Lowertown.
Oh yeah, that's a lovely park.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, we just got about another minute, and then we got to take a break, and then we're getting to my buddy in studio, the indefatigable Chris Mulkey, who does it all. And what kind of local bands do you like to go out and see? Who are your favorites?
wow, local bands. So I grew up in the 80s, so I'm still the, the Replacements and Who's
Sure.
Who and stuff. I mean, I went to, saw all those shows. Right now, still like some of the old timers who still play, like Run Rusty Run.
Oh, yeah.
They still play around. And then some more like the, like Rank Strangers. They play every so often. Who else am I thinking of? Like the Silver Teens and Whiskey Rock and Roll Club, Minneapolis, Whiskey Rock and Roll Club. High on Stress has kind of got a big influence on the Replacements, or Replacements had a big influence on them.
Cool.
That genre, definitely.
Beautiful. Well, be a great host to my friend Ann Margaret Daniel. Nice talking to Dean Carlson. Have a beautiful weekend. I look forward to meeting you in person one of these days.
Okay. All right. And Ann Margaret says goodbye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Back with Chris Mulkey after these messages. Hey everyone, the Great Lakes Candy Kitchen is now open for its 18th season. They are located on scenic Highway 61, 10 miles north of Duluth in the town of Knife River. They are third and fourth generation candy makers that use copper kettles to make their delicious caramels, fudge, brittles, and my personal favorite, chocolate dipped hot air. Check them out and also make sure to try their famous Nutty Ice Cream Bar. The Great Lakes Candy Kitchen in downtown Knife River.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Start a garden. And if you need to start a garden, indoor or outdoor, go to our friends at Grow Your Own Garden Supply. They are located at 1801 West Michigan Street. Mario and Brooke, a great young couple, are going to help you out whether you're going to grow indoors or outdoors. They specialize in indoor gardening. They have a wide variety of houseplants, unique pottery, and a multitude of garden-related accessories and local handmade gifts. Their motto is grow kind and grow local. They are one of the couples at the beginning of what I'm calling the New Duluth. They're right at the edge of the Lincoln Park Craft District and just a couple doors down from our friends at River City Records. Find out more if you can't make it at 1801 West Michigan Street. Before you get down, go to growyourowngardensupply.com.
River City Records and Books, voted Best Record Store of 2023 in the Twin Ports by the Duluth Reader, has in stock thousands of new and used vinyl records, from classic rock to punk, grunge, and metal, to hip-hop, rap, and jazz, reggae, and dub. Thousands of books, CDs, DVDs, Blu-ray, and VHS. Also a large selection of cassettes, comic books, and music magazines. Stop in and see them at 1814 West Superior Street in the friendly Lincoln Park Craft District. Open 9 to 7, 7 days a week.
If you're looking for a great hang in downtown Duluth, I highly suggest Carmody's Irish Pub. They're located at 308 East Superior Street, open Tuesday through Sunday. The host and hostess are Eddie and Liz. Eddie is a retired Chicago cop. If he happens to be in the club when you're there, talk to him. He's got more stories than I do. They've also got a great jam session every Tuesday night from 8 to 11 with Bruce Woodman. So if you're a musician, tried and true, that has been out there playing and just want to go try out some new stuff, go down and hang out with Bruce and the crew. Or if you're just up and coming, bring your horn or your stringed instrument or just want to sing, go sit in with Bruce Woodman every Tuesday night at Carmody's Pub, 308 East Superior Street.
All right, team, let's solve this dinner dilemma. What's round as a dinner plate but sharp in flavor?
I'm not sure.
Okay, here's a hint for you. Imagine a crispy crust smothered in the perfect sauce, topped with bubbly melted cheese, loaded with pepperoni sausage or even chicken Alfredo.
Oh, I see where you're going. Pizza.
Not just any pizza, my friend. Shelton Pizza. It's the ultimate dinner time saver.
Don't stress over dinner. Grab your own Shelton Pizza at your local grocery or convenience store, and if they don't have it, ask why not. Available at Super One Foods. It's the fast, easy, and delicious solution for busy families on the go.
Say you're looking for a getaway here? Go up to Grey Wolf Lodge on Pelican Lake, a little bit north of Orr. We've got a great deal worked out with Stars Over the Prairie. If you're looking for a great place to stay and kind of walk back in time to their 8 cabins, and they've got room for families as well. They've got mini golf. They've got a one-hole golf course. They've got great fishing up there on Pelican Lake. They got paddle boards, canoes, and kayaks, saunas, and 45 acres of park lake grounds. You're going to love it. It's like walking back in time, a real resort experience. Grey Wolf Lodge, GREY Wolf Lodge. You can Google them and call them at 1-800-840-9653. 1-800-840-9653. Mention Stars Over the Prairie and get 10% off your stay. You're going to love it. It's right down the road from the Vince Schutte Bear Sanctuary, where you can watch all the bears come in at dusk to eat, and there's dozens of them.
You're listening to Stars Over the Prairie with Paul Metsa right here on KDAL.
Welcome to the last night of the House of Blues in Hollywood, California. We are Chris Mulkey and Deluxe, and this is Voodoo Walking. Down in New Orleans, down in Jackson Square, me and Lafayette were grooving there. Way past midnight, sat big fine delight. I found a girl with a waving hair. Say voodoo walking, say my love talking, say voodoo walking. My love talking. Let's walk.
Yeah. Oh, that's a groove. That's a good Saturday morning groove. That Nolan's groove. And the guy that was singing that live is going to be singing some more live in the studio. My good buddy, actor, musician, Chris Mulkey. Chris, good to see you.
One time. Good morning, Paul. What a pleasure to see you again.
Oh, man.
Come on.
You know, we are going to be rocking Chestnut Street in Virginia, Minnesota tonight, celebrating the 30th anniversary of Flamer's Bar. Proprietor Gary Flame is a big fan of Mr. Mulkey's. Chris was up there. How many years ago were you up there and filming the movie North Country, Chris?
Over a decade ago, yeah.
Wow.
Me and Charlize Theron and Woody Harrelson, all of us. Woody and I bartended for Gary at Flamers. That turned out really well.
That's Gary speaks fondly of it, and all the stories I heard, you guys were just ripping it up when you weren't working.
I didn't give any change. Whatever people had, I just took it. And then sometimes I just wouldn't take any money. So I think they probably broke even, all in all.
Say, we've got... Chris, we got a little shorter show today because KDAL also carries UMD Bulldogs football. Whoa. So they're cutting in at about 11:30 today. But we're going to open the phone lines here. If you have any questions for Mr. Mulkey, call us at 218-722-0839, 218-722-0839. What I tell Chris, I said, if you're cruising through looking for something to watch at night and you're cruising through the cable channels, there's a good chance they're going to see something that you've been in or see your mug at some point, because you've been in literally over 100 television shows or films. Is that correct?
100 features and 300 television shows.
I think it's close to 4. So I'm not counting anymore.
I need to take a nap now because I got tired thinking about that.
Paul, check this out. So I did this movie, and it was a really sweet movie. And then the director called me about this time last year and said I hadn't seen him in 2 years since we did the movie, and it was nice. And he said, "Monkey, do you do commercials?" And I said, "No, I'm busy doing other stuff." He says, "Do you want to do a Mazda commercial?" And I went, "Oh, yeah, Matt, cool. When do you want to do it?" He said, "Yeah, just in a couple of weeks." I said, "Cool." So I went and did the Mazda commercial. It was really super fun. It's a really sweet. So they gave me a couple Mazda. I drove one up here for you.
Oh, cool. And so Could you drop that one off for me?
I'm going to drop it off and Uber back to the cities.
Well, you know, our great artist Mike Goebel texted me this morning, and I turned you on to Mike. He's done a lot of your artwork now.
Yeah.
He's done all of mine for the last, almost 20 years. And he said he saw that Mazda commercial.
Oh, man, it's great. Yeah, I'm going to buy him a Diet Coke and a hamburger, I think Sunday or something like that, yeah. He's great.
He, we met, Malky and Metsa met at, we're going to say 10, 15 years ago. I saw that they were filming the movie North Country, which is about when some of the first women miners started working in the mines, Mintac in particular, outside of Mountain Iron, and actually a lot of women that I went to high school with that were a year or two older were some of those first miners, and because of the misogyny and sexism, they got in little troubles up there, and but anyway, they were doing the movie, and I thought, well, this would be a good time to get some Metsa songs in there. So I got a hold of somebody in Minneapolis that knew about the production, said, well, you got to get a hold of Chris Malky because he's in the movie and he's a St. Paul boy. So I did, and turns out, well, tell us how it turned out.
Well, I took a couple of my tunes and a couple of Paul's tunes because I love Virginia, Virginia. I always tell you that. It's a great song among all the stuff that you do. And I took them to the producers, and they really liked Paul's stuff. And and then I said, they called me back, and they said, we really like Paul's stuff, and we kind of like your stuff. No, but I said, well, good. I'm here for Paul, and they said, but we're going with Dylan straight through the movie. I said, you know, the guy from Eveleth, really? That guy? So I was really happy for Bob, and said,
well, he needed the money.
Well, yeah, he did need the money. He needs another place in Malibu.
So, Christopher, tell us about some of your latest projects.
Well, next week I'm going up to Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm in a series called Blue Ridge, which is kind of a murder she wrote, contemporary detective TV series, and I play a NASCAR owner. And so I'm going up there. I did a movie with Gary Wheeler called Far Haven, which you can see on Amazon Prime, and it's playing all over the world. It's a stand-up Western, so I played the bad guy. And so I'm going to do Blue Ridge and play the good guy. So I'm go to Charlotte, and then I do a couple shows there, and then that'll take me to December, and then I'm going to go to Florida to do a Hallmark movie about Christmas.
Wow. You cover the waterfront.
Yeah. I'm doing it with the wonderful actress from Star Trek Next Generation, Dana Sparks, and so she's playing my wife, and so hopefully I can make her my wife right after I do the thing. I don't know if we can seal the deal or not.
We're going to, in fact, the lovely Dana Sparks is with us in the studio. We will, in the second part of the show, get her on because we got to get one more microphone in here, so when we have two guests, they can each speak in their own mic. But we'll get Dana on. She's got quite a story. I mean, and the only person I ever know that's golfed with Sean Connery.
Yes, and she also golfed with Michael Jordan and took him for $700.
Wow! Wow. Oh, we got to hear that story. So Dana Sparks will come up in the second hour, Stars Over the Prairie. Mr. Mulkey, you know, it's fun, you know, because we've hung out a lot now since we got to know each other. And you always would come and sit in with Willie Walker and I at Shaw's, and Sonny Earl and I, and we've done private parties and bars. But every time I hang out with you, because you've been in so many productions over the years in film and TV, people just they give you the side eye. Like, I think I know that guy.
Yeah, I get that. I get that a lot. I just have to, you know, Mike Shaw and our time at Shaw's, and I have to thank you and Willie for always, you know, including me. And, all those, I don't even know how many nights that I jumped in there, and it was great. So
now, Chris, and when you sat in with me, don't assume because I want to have you play song after song that I just want to sit and hang out at the bar with my buddies and make you do my job for me. Don't think that.
Oh, okay. No, I would never think that.
You're great. People love you. I remember when you came up and I was playing the black one. There's a couple of brothers.
Oh my gosh!
In the corner, one guy looks at me and goes, "That's him, the badass." I go, "Yeah, that's the badass." And then when we were a couple years ago, you and Dana were nice enough to host me at your house.
Yeah.
Out in Venice, California, and we went and saw Bob Dylan.
Yes, we did.
And we were standing outside, and people were coming up to you and getting autographs. But I'll never forget, one guy walked right by you and came up to me and asked me for my autograph.
Yeah, he said he loved your work. I said to the guy, I said, "Yeah, this guy's great." Yeah,
he loved me in Legends of the Fall. You know, I get that Brad Pitt. Aren't you Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
All the time.
I know. I'm looking at the pictures right now, and it's just like on my phone, and I'm seeing the similarities, like striking. It's amazing.
Hey, Christopher, you got your guitar. Let's hear a number. What are we going to hear?
Well, you know, I thought. One that occurred to me, I come from a Southern family. We fled the South because we couldn't make any money down there and came up to Minnesota, and this is where I grew up. And this is one called Memphis. Mercy, Mississippi River deep and wide. I cannot swim to the other side. Drinking, I let me have 2 kids. That's far less than my brother did. I count my change and ride the dog. Oh, where I let it eat high in the hog. 10-pound catfish, 2-pound line. Frown up in grits and greens one time. Hey, Memphis, get me out of here. Get me back to Memphis. Let me make it clear. Get me back to Memphis. You gotta help me here. Get me back to Memphis. Anywhere but here. What? Oh, at a loss for words, don't answer the phone, Paul. Can't pick up, I got the same clothes on. Don't read my mail, don't answer the door. Car parked down the street, it don't work no more. Can't feel the words, can't hear the beat. Cap'n brothers were the sisters weep. They got chased away by the night. I'm all jacked up and my shoes are too tight. Hey, Memphis, get me out of here. Get me back to Memphis. My cousins, you know they live there. Get me back to Memphis. You gotta help me here. Get me back to Memphis, anywhere but here. What, dear? I wish I was in Memphis where my people live. Mustang Sally crossing the Mississippi Bridge, eating ribbon, drinking beer. Birthday in Memphis, you hear? I build it up night and day. I ate a ball of meth, you know, that'll take it away. Don't want to kill your buzzer, bring you down. Memphis, my town, hey, Memphis, yeah. Get me out of here. Hey, get me back to Memphis. Let me make it clear, no. Get me back to Memphis. You're gonna help me here. Get me back to Memphis. Anywhere but here. Bring it home now. Bundly, beep, 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 beep. Memphis, baby, Memphis, baby, Memphis, baby.
That's the great Chris Mulkey, multi-talented actor, musician, songwriter, director, playing live. What a treat.
You and I have played that song before.
Oh,
thanks,
yeah,
Paul.
yeah, we got to play it tonight. I love playing with you. You got that nice driving rhythm, and it's really easy to sit behind.
Yeah, yeah.
Hit a couple of hot notes and watch them bounce.
Yeah, I play that song and then I go, Paul, and then Paul wanders off and plays all kinds of fantastic leads and grooves, and then we reel it in, or we let Sonny in a little bit.
We let Sonny for a little bit. Sonny, a great harmonica player.
Oh my God!
Boy, he's taking voice lessons. He is singing his little white butt off.
That's great.
And he loves you. We have a good groove. So we're tonight at 7:00, free show, celebrating Gary Flame's 30th anniversary at Flamer's Bar. That building has the oldest structure on the main street of Virginia that's been selling booze since 1905.
Wow. We've helped him with that. We've helped him. We really have helped him because they had too much booze there for a while, and
we needed to lighten the load.
Yeah, lowered the level. Yeah.
It was funny when the Depression was going on. I mean, when they outlawed booze there for about 10 years,
that was pretty much a depression, right?
Yeah,
there,
for the Iron Range.
Yeah, the Prohibition deal. Yeah,
Prohibition. They sent whoever it was, the ATF, I think, went up there because there was they got the word that there was people stumbling around on the main streets of Virginia, and so they'd go into these bars. That the bars were still open, but they could sell like soda and milk, or maybe dudes serve lunch, and they couldn't figure it out. And my grandfather owned a bar right across the street from Flamers called the Roosevelt Bar. Told me the story that back then, what savvy bar owners would do, they would put the booze in the soap dispenser.
Wow. Wow.
So you could order like a Coca-Cola and then go whiskey up your coffee cup in the men's room. Brilliant.
That's great. Wow.
So, Chris, you got to... you've worked with so many big hitters, but I always love telling the story about working with the great Robert Duvall.
Oh, Bobby Duvall, yeah.
Bobby, of course, Bobby.
Bobby's great. I mean, I loved him from all his work, all the years. The Great Santini is kind of one of his wonderful things. I mean, of course, The Godfather,
Yeah.
Played the consigliere. But, we did this thing with Walter Hill called Broken Trail up in Canada. And it was a long time, it was a thing for AMC. Who else was in that? Greta Sachi was in it. Anyhow, it was 200 horses and me and some prostitutes that belonged to me that he was rescuing, and I chased him across Montana. And so I'm having the final fight with Bobby because we captured him and stuff, and Walter Hill goes, the director says, I had a big 45 Peacemaker in my hand.
Right.
And I got him pinned down there, and he makes a nifty move and gets up, and the fight is on. And we're doing this stunt fight, and Walter Hill says, Mulkey, don't hit Bobby with that gun because it's almost 4 pouns of metal, right?
Right.
We got a couple of weeks left, and I didn't hit him. I said I'll never hit him, but a couple of times he swung that mallet, and I felt a mallet go. I felt on the whiskers on my cheeks. But he's a funny guy. He spooked my horse on purpose by the campfire because he liked the improv, and it was wild. It was wild. So we big love to Bobby. He just had a birthday.
Nice.
I just had lunch with Walter Hill, who, of course, did Aliens. He produced and wrote Aliens, and we did Long Riders, 48 Hours, and of course Broken Trail, what I'm talking about. And at lunch, I said, Walter, remember when you said don't hit Bobby with the pistol? And he said, Oh, Chris, you misunderstood me. I told you hit the son of a bitch with the pistol. Because Bobby's a very opinionated actor, and I think there may have been some
bad blood.
He said, you should have taken him out. I didn't. You misunderstood me. I said, well, I get most of your stuff right.
So... You have a record coming out. I know you played at the House of Blues for
3 years.
Yeah.
3 years, yeah. In Hollywood, we played all the rooms, and we were the house band for a year and a half, and we did a live album out of that called Burning Down the House.
Did you have, was there other, because there's a lot of actors that are also musicians, did you have any other guest stars sit in?
Yeah, over the years we did. I mean, Sean Vidrine came up, but not a lot of actors. I just, I hang out with musicians.
It's a good hang.
Yeah, it's a good hang. Actors make me a little nervous.
Yeah.
I don't know about those guys. I love them, but they're not really good necessarily players necessarily.
We've got about 1 minute. Tell us about the new record coming out with the great Scarlett Rivera, of course, kind of discovered by Bob Dylan on a street corner in New York City, and then invited her to perform on Desire and then the Rolling Thunder Review. And her and I recorded a song together called Six Roses, and you just recently played with her, and you've got a record coming out with her. When's that?
Yeah, we have a snappy quartet. I've been playing with her for about maybe 3 years, and we did a great concert at a great blues bar in Santa Monica called Harvell's from 1936, and we recorded the live show, and it's a terrific record, 12 sweet tunes and it's called Mulkey and Rivera Live at Harvell's.
Wow.
Go figure. It's coming out the end of, first November. Yeah.
Well, Scarlett's got some good friends up here. Nelson French, who's on the show.
Nelson, say hi. And also, Scarlett says hi to you.
Oh, great. Well, that's a beautiful thing. We got Chris Mulkey on for the rest of the show on Stars of the Prairie. We're going to have a guest appearance by his lovely friend Dana Sparks, who's going to tell us about her career in golfing with Michael Jordan and Sean Connery. That's so cool.
That's great. Sean.
And I wish I could see stars over the prairie, stars over the prairie tonight. And I wish I could see stars over the prairie, stars over the prairie tonight. And I wish I could see stars over the prairie.
Your home for Bulldog hockey. Score! The first name in news, the last word in talk. 610 KDAL. News Talk Sports.
If you're looking for a great hang in downtown Duluth, I highly suggest Carmody's Irish Pub. They're located at 308 East Superior Street, open Tuesday through Sunday. The host and hostess are Eddie and Liz. Eddie is a retired Chicago cop. If he happens to be in the club when you're there, talk to him. He's got more stories than I do. They've also got a great jam session every Tuesday night from 8 to 11 with Bruce Woodman. So if you're a musician, tried and true, that has been out there playing and just want to go try out some new stuff, go down and hang out with Bruce and the crew. Or if you're just up and coming, bring your horn or your stringed instrument or just want to sing, go sit in with Bruce Woodman every Tuesday night at Carmody's Pub, 308 East Superior Street.
River City Records and Books, voted best record store of 2023 in the Twin Ports by the Duluth Reader, has in stock thousands of new and used vinyl records, from classic rock to punk, grunge, and metal, to hip-hop, rap, and jazz, reggae, and dub. Thousands of books, CDs, DVDs, Blu-ray, and VHS. Also a large selection of cassettes, comic books, and music magazines. Stop in and see them at 1814 West Superior Street in the friendly Lincoln Park Craft District. Open 9 to 7, 7 days a week.
Every day deserves a superior beer. Earth Rider Brewery's decorated brewers hand-select hops that lend citrus notes to the crisp and easy-drinking Superior Pale Ale. Visit Earth Rider Brewery's Cedar Lounge Tap Room on the Working Harbor in Superior for their award-winning flagship and seasonal brews on tap and to go. To find out much more about Earth Rider Brewery events, join the mailing list and locate Earth Rider beer near you at earthrider.beer. Hold fast.
Lots of stuff going over at the Cedar Lounge. Brought to you by Earth Rider Beer. Monday nights is service industry night. If you work in the entertainment or service industry, show them where you work, and you can drink $4 pints all day and all night long. Jumpsuit Tuesday is a great instrumental jazz outfit called Jumpsuits. Are playing there every Tuesday night. Just called Jumpsuit. And a big for all you deadheads, Lazy Lightning 420 on Wednesday night at the Cedar Lounge with a triumvirate of Twin Ports legends, Eric Berry from Trampled by Turtles, T. Gillespie, and Mark Gartman. Wednesday night at the Cedar Lounge. And don't forget, I'm going to be Paul Metsa, the Tilt Town Titans, Sunday afternoon from 4 to 6. It's our second gig tomorrow at Carmody's Pub at 308 East Superior Street. So come on down.
Live, it Stars Over the Prairie with 8-time Minnesota Music Award-winning songwriter, musician, author, and historian, Paul Metsa. Check out previous show podcasts at KDAL610.com. Now, here's Paul Metsa.
Girl with the long, long hair, bright as sunshine, standing over there. She got good legs, said do it right. Said take her home, did me tonight. You know what I'm talking about? The girl ain't nothing but a dime. Hey, knock out.
All right, you are back with Stars Over the Prairie. This is your host, Paul Metsa. My guest in the studio, Mr. Chris Mulkey.
Come on now.
And we've got a caller. Somebody called with a question for Mr. Mulkey. Let's see if they're still on there, what they have to ask. Is he on?
Hey there, Paul.
Hey, how are you? Would you like to ask Mr. Mulkey a question?
Well, sure, Mr. Mulkey. This is Nelson French calling.
Oh, my gosh. Nelson, good to hear from you. Is my room ready?
It's great to hear you. So I'm sitting in Cedar Rapids, Iowa at my 50th college reunion. So that reveals my age. But anyway, I just thought I'd check in. I heard you were going to be there with Paul, and I'm so glad you're back in the North Country. And quite frankly, I'm hoping we can arrange to get you and Scarlett up to Silver Bay next summer.
Scarlett and I just played a great show in Santa Monica, and we were talking about that, and we're so excited about coming up and doing that show for you. It's great.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you enjoying fall? And are you spending time in northern Minnesota this fall?
Yeah, I was actually, to confess, I spent 2 days at my buddy Sparky Eichinger's cabin over in Siren, Wisconsin. So I went across the border, and we had what a great area that is. It's dreamy. And then the rest of the time in the city's for my high school reunion, and then I blasted up here to see Paul and play with him. And
I hear you're going to be playing. Are you playing with him? What, tomorrow night? Is that right?
Tonight,
Nelson, at the Farmers Bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been there, except I'm at my, it's that reunion time of year, right? So I'm at my reunion. So
well, I'll circle back around maybe in November on my way back from the Carolinas and join Paul at the pub or something and have a hamburger with you.
Hey, let's do that. So what else is going on in your life? Are you keeping busy? You get any new flicks that you're in or anything?
You know what he's got, Nelson? We've got a short amount of time because the UMD Bulldogs are coming in. But what Chris does have, and thanks for calling, Nelson, is he's got his lovely friend, Dana Sparks, in the studio. Why don't you introduce Miss Sparks, Chris?
Well, I will.
Thanks, Nelson.
Nelson, Dana and I slept at your house, and Dana Sparks is a well-known actress. She's worked with, when she was a kid, worked with Jack Lemmon and golfed with Michael Jordan and was the weapons commander in Star Trek and did 6 years on Passions. Miss Dana Sparks, soon to be Dana Mulkey.
Well, that's my...
Well, Dana, hello. I'm glad to hear you're there. I'm going to let you guys go, but adding to that list, Chris, is she serenaded Marilyn French in the morning. So,
you're right. She did.
This is my favorite intro ever.
Dana, good to have you on Stars Over the Prairie, and always a pleasure to see you.
So nice to see you, Paul.
Can we start real quick? Because you golf with Sean Connery, and you do the best Sean Connery impersonation.
Pussy. Excuse me.
Give me a little bit when you'd call him up, when you'd figure out when you're trying to schedule your golf game with Mr. Sean Connery.
Well, I got to play over like a decade with he and his wife Micheline, and we'd play golf, and everyone thinks that Sean is James Bond, and he's so not. He's just got this amazing sense of humor and loves simple pleasures. There was one time we were in the parking lot, and I'm pulling my bags out of the trunk of my car, and I see this minivan, this mom minivan drive up, and I look in the front seat, and it's Sean, and he's Dana. Top of the morning, and he jumps out of his car, and he goes around to the side door, which is that big panel sliding door, and he goes, "This is the most marvelous automobile. You've got to see this." And slides open the big mom door, and he goes, "Look at that. My clubs are right there." I'm like, "Yeah, Sean, that's a minivan. That's a mom van. Most marvelous automobile ever."
Now tell us, you do the great Sean, balls are in the air. Can you do that one for me?
Oh, well, you kind of just said it. Yeah, when you go to tee off and you're all ready to go and it's time to play and no more messing around, and he goes, "All right, let's play at 10 balls in the air." All right, mine too. Hits your jeans.
Now, when did you meet Mulkey?
Well, originally I met Mulkey back in the early 90s, I think. I played his sister on a TV show, right, Chris? Yes. We were brother and sister then.
Arresting Behavior on CBS.
Very
that
cool.
Is correct.
It was a sitcom. I was funny. I'm dramatic now, but she was my lovely sister who...
I was really funny, but I lived in Malibu, you lived in Venice, and, that's that. So we never saw each other for 25 years, I think, and then came across each other a while ago, and now here we are in the studio with you.
Well, speaking of living in California, Dana Sparks, you lived next to Tom Petty and his wife.
I did. They were delightful, and Dana and I, we shared the same first name. So,
right.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. How did that... Did they just move in while you were there? Or did you
No, I actually owned a home that was built by Rudolph Valentino back in the 20s. This beautiful stone house.
Sean Connery, Michael Jordan, Rudolph Valentino, Tom Petty. What's he doing with you, Mulkey?
What happened?
I'm from St. Paul.
How did I reach up so high and grab Mr. Mulkey?
Oh, you did.
I
sure.
did. But yeah, so they were just kind of randomly looking for a house not in Malibu and came across my house, and there was a sign down at the lake that said Dana's Lake. And Dana turned to Tom and said, "Tommy, it's a sign." And he, "Yes, Dana, that is a sign." So they came out and looked at it on Easter and bought it that day and bought all my stuff, furniture, silverware, everything. And then I had invested in the property next door, so that made me next door neighbors with them for a while.
So you see Tom fishing out there in Dana Lake.
I'd see him fishing, and he'd stand there, he'd cast out there, and he'd have his cowboy boots on the dock, and he'd stand there in his guitar posture with his, one hip thrust out, holding his rod. And I actually got to help him take a bass off the line one time. I thought, this is pretty groovy. He didn't have any pliers. Dana, you got any pliers over there?
Oh, funny.
Sure, Tom. Yeah.
So now, what project you guys got going on? Did you say? You mentioned
we're going to do a movie in Florida. Dana, you want to talk about it?
Well, yeah, we get to play husband and wife, so that'll be good practice, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But you know what else I wanted to talk about, because I know we're short on time. I actually get to be on an album with Chris Mulkey and Scarlett Rivera. I'm singing a song on that live album.
And you are singing tonight at Flamers.
Yes.
I believe you
have jump up.
The Johnny and June, Johnny Cash, June Carter version of Jackson.
We're going to do it. Yeah, we're back to Jackson. Yeah, we're going to do it. Yeah. But she sings on the CD, the record, on the 8-track, she sings Gunfighter Girl with me.
Cool.
Yeah, it changes mid-track, so you got to wait for that gap. It goes from track 2 to 3, and then
8 tracks.
8 tracks. Yeah,
we're selling 8-track machines if you like.
I bet when you guys we went out for dinner a couple of times. We went to had that beautiful chicken dinner and those martinis at that bar in your neighborhood.
Come on,
that was a lot of fun. But I bet when you guys go out, just because, and I'm not talking about people that look at you and go, geez, we think we know these people, but you must run into a lot of people you both worked with when you're out and about in Hollywood and Los Angeles.
I don't know. They kind of run from us. No.
No. We sell. We're talking to people all the time that we've done shows with. Dana's done so much work, and I have too. Since we've been back together, we've done 8 movies together in 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah. It's really crazy. It feels good, It's if I have to lay down something and record it and then send the tape in, it's so much easier to just have her read the other side, put up the technical stuff so the audition looks good, and vice versa. So it's really an asset.
Yeah, we keep trying, keep swinging, as Mulkey says.
Come on, keep
swinging.
We're
working, and we keep trying to get more work. So
well, as long as Mulkey's got his guitar here, Chris, let's do it quick. Can you do something about a little 2-3 minutes, real quick? Play us a number.
Yeah, I have an album called Tucson Tapes with.
That's a good one. I love that one.
And Tucson Tapes is great. And there's an up-tempo thing called Gunfighter Girl, and Dana does some of the Gunfighter Girl. So yeah. Yeah, feels good. Her boots were dirty, but her truck was clean. She was wearing them skin-tight, tiny blue jeans. Tipped the brim of her hat down low. Yeah, that's right, she was ready to go. Had a double whiskey on, maybe 2. Wasn't anything she wouldn't do. It turned up Johnny Cash real loud. There was no going back, we were burning it down. She's a
sidewinder, nothing finer, sassy little shotgun rider, heartbreaker, soul shaker. Don't forget the money maker, make your head spin, twirl, gunfighter girl.
Do it, Dana.
She's a sidewinder, nothing finer, sassy little shotgun rider, heartbreaker, soul shaker. Don't forget the money maker, make your head spin and twirl, gunfighter girl.
We burned it up out on the dance floor, hit the place down. We wanted more, so we went down to Mexico. Like I said before, she was ready to go. It came across the paddle of a preacher man. Funny what happens when things ain't planned. I bought a diamond ring, fell down on her knees. I said,
gunfighter girl, will you marry me? She's a sidewinder, nothing finer, sassy little shotgun rider, heartbreaker, soul shaker. Don't forget the money maker, make your head spin and twirl, gunfighter girl.
Go.
She's a sidewinder, nothing finer, sassy little shotgun rider, heartbreaker, soul shaker. Don't forget the money maker, make your head spin and twirl, gunfighter girl.
Gunfighter girl.
Gunfighter girl.
Gunfighter girl.
Gunfighter girl. Gunfighter girl. Gunfighter girl.
Wow!
Ciao!
Hey.
Oh, yeah, that one's got some snap, crackle, and pop. Who wrote that?
William Shockley and Chris Mulkey.
Oh, man, I like that. Dana, that is a great,
thank you, Paul.
Great addition to that song. Hey, next week on Stars Over the Prairie, we have a Superior native, a fellow by the name of Dan Singer is coming into town. He graduated Superior Senior High in 1992, went to UWS. He majored in voice, classical guitar, and a minor in mass communications. He's won many awards, including concerto competition, lead roles in Musicians Oratorian, pops up in concerts with the Duluth Symphony Orchestra, and more. He also knows quite a bit about Bob Dylan's history in the Twin Ports and the great talent scout John Hammond, whose great-grandfather was one of the founders of Superior, Wisconsin, and we're going to find out more about that next week. This has been so much fun. Once again, I'm playing with my new band, Paul Metsa, the Tiltown Titans, George Ellsworth on piano, Taylor Shikes on bass, and Ian Hopp on drums. Tomorrow at Carmony's Irish Pub, downtown Duluth, from 4 to 6 p.m. Chris Mulkey, Paul Metsa, and Sonny Earl tonight at Flamers Bar, corner of 2nd Avenue and Chestnut Street. Mm-hmm. You know those Mulkey Metsa gigs. We might start at 7, but you never know when the hell it's going to end.
You never, which goes to show you never can tell.
Now, has the lovely Miss Sparks been up to the Iron Range?
No, this is her first shot.
All right. Well, be prepared to have some fun.
I'm just trying to figure out which open pit mine I want to show her.
Well, there's one just 2 blocks east of Flamers. Just don't go there after dark. I think there's a fence around it, but
we'll climb over.
It's a long drop to the bottom. Chief, we've been having so much fun. Chris, you got anything fun going on? Chris Allen?
Just setting up a few of the ghost hunts.
Well, you have a good time. Say, follow me. I've got records out and books out. Go to paulmetsa.com and get that all figured out. And podcasts of Stars Over the Prairie are available at kdal610.com. If you're coming up to Duluth Superior this weekend, it is gorgeous weather up here in the Zenith City by the Unsalted Sea. 237 somersaults down from Bob Dylan's childhood home. Thanks for listening. Paul Metsa saying, see you next week.
Stars over the prairie tonight, and I wish I could see stars over the prairie, stars over the prairie tonight, and I wish I could see stars over the prairie, stars over the prairie tonight.
Hey everyone, the Great Lakes Candy Kitchen is now open for its 18th season. They are located on Scenic Highway 61, 10 miles north of Duluth in the town of Knife River. They are 3rd and 4th generation candy makers that use copper kettles to make their delicious caramels, fudge, brittles, and my personal favorite, chocolate dipped hot air. Check them out and also make sure to try their famous Nutty Ice Cream Bar. The Great Lakes Candy Kitchen in downtown Knife River.
All right, team, let's solve this dinner dilemma. What's round as a dinner plate but sharp in flavor?
I'm not sure.
Okay, here's a hint for you. Imagine a crispy crust smothered in the perfect sauce, topped with bubbly melted cheese, loaded with pepperoni sausage or even chicken Alfredo.
Oh, I see where you're going. Pizza.
Not just any pizza, my friend. Shelton Pizza. It's the ultimate dinner time saver.
Don't stress over dinner. Grab your own Shelton Pizza at your local grocery or convenience store, and if they don't have it, ask why not. Available at Super One Foods. It's the fast, easy, and delicious solution for busy families on the go.
Say, you're looking for a getaway here? Go up to Grey Wolf Lodge on Pelican Lake a little bit north of Orr. We've got a great deal worked out with Stars Over the Prairie. If you're looking for a great place to stay and kind of walk back in time to their 8 cabins, and they've got room for families as well. They've got mini golf. They've got a 1-hole golf course. They've got great fishing up there on Pelican Lake. They got paddle boards, canoes, and kayaks, saunas, and 45 acres of park lake grounds. You're going to love it. It's like walking back in time, a real resort experience. Grey Wolf Lodge, GREY Wolf Lodge. You can Google them and call them at 1-800-840-9653. 1-800-840-9653. Mention Stars Over the Prairie and get 10% off your stay. You're going to love it. It's right down the road from the Vince Schutte Bear Sanctuary, where you can watch all the bears come in at dusk to eat, and there's dozens of them.
Moments like hearing my cat purr good morning mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib. Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative NBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Start a garden. And if you need to start a garden, indoor or outdoor, go to our friends at Grow Your Own Garden Supply. They are located at 1801 West Michigan Street. Mario and Brooke, a great young couple, are going to help you out whether you're going to grow indoors or outdoors. They specialize in indoor gardening. They have a wide variety of houseplants, unique pottery, and a multitude of garden-related accessories and local handmade gifts. Their motto is grow kind and grow local. They are one of the couples at the beginning, what I'm calling the New Duluth. They're right at the edge of the Lincoln Park Craft District and just a couple doors down from our friends at River City Records. Find out more if you can't make it at 1801 West Michigan Street. Before you get down, go to growyourowngardensupply.com.
wish I could see stars over the prairie, stars over the prairie tonight. And I wish I could see stars over the prairie, stars over the prairie tonight. And I wish I could see stars over the prairie, stars over the prairie tonight.
Your home for Bulldog hockey.